All right, let's rock and roll. All right, so welcome back to the Movie Nerd Jane's Instagram for a very special Instagram Live, as I am joined by James Deveney, writer and director of the new short film One Click, and producer, the badass SARA BEKO. Welcome, guys. I'm so glad to have you here. Thank you so much for joining me for this. I really appreciate it, and then I'm like over the moon. Thank you so much for doing this.
No problem. Thank you for having us.
Of course.
And then, first and foremost, congratulations to you both on the new film. I'm so excited to see it. I did see the new trailer today. It even got me more excited. I'm so amped. I'd yell right now, say, let's fucking go, but my daughter is sleeping, and it is a school night, so I have to be very quiet. But before I hit you guys with the first question, I just want to plug One Click real quick. The short synopsis of the film is: horror strikes three friends on a desert hike when they are hunted by an unseen foe. One Click premieres publicly November 16th, 2025 at 6 p.m. Pacific Time Zone. And where can everybody find One Click when it premieres?
On YouTube. You can also just go to One Click Film for more information.com. OneClickFilm.com. One Click Film on Instagram. It's click with a K, by the way. Yeah. But yeah, super easy to find.
Yeah.
All right. Awesome. All right. So my first question, I wanted to start at the beginning with you guys. How did One Click come to life, and what is the origins of One Click? I know how much you want to say origins, real growly, James.
Origins. Definitely listens to the podcast. I wrote the first version of it in 2023. That's when I got the idea. I was in the desert shooting something else, and I just got the idea of like Most Dangerous Game vibes out in this wilderness, beautiful landscapes, these shrubs, joshua trees, and high mountains everywhere. I thought it'd be a cool idea to do something really fun and action-packed in an outdoor location to save money, obviously. So I wrote the first version in 2023, and then it had a couple iterations, and I wasn't too confident. I wanted to shoot in 2024, but I didn't know if I was ready to do it yet. Then I went to England to work on a Viking film, a feature film, which I assistant directed. That's where I met Sarah. She was acting in it, doing stunts and a bunch of other stuff on set. And so we clicked. And then when we got back and she lived in LA, I never met her before. And then February, March, we were like toying with the idea of making One Click into a movie, a shorts. And then it kind of just snowballed once she was like, told me about this car she wanted to blow up. And then we're like, let's blow up the car and write it into the script. And so I wrote an opening scene with the car explosion. And it just kind of, Sarah and I just like put the pedal to the metal as soon as like the end of March, beginning of April. Pre-production just went right into action. And I kept revising the script for over and over. There was maybe like 10 versions of the script after that, until finally shooting happened in October 2024.
Awesome. And is One Click, is that your directorial debut, James?
My debut, yeah.
Dude, holy shit, that's awesome, dude.
Thank you.
Did you shoot digitally, or did you shoot on film?
That was digital. I wanted to.
Yeah, we wanted to shoot on film so bad, but there's so many other logistical things that come with shooting on film, and also money that comes with shooting on film. It's just the next one will definitely film in the future.
Our DP Danger, he owns the Aria mirror that we used, so we shot digitally on that. But he also owns a 16mm camera, and he's like, we can shoot on it. But I mean, it's just so expensive to buy film and then process it to digital. It's just not in. It wasn't in the budget. Mm-hmm. And obviously, I think I wanted to, but I think for my debut film, it probably wasn't wise to shoot on film, anyways, because there's so many other things you have to know. And I think for me, even though I got a lot of experience working in England, I still, it's probably best to I wanted to simplify everything we could at every level to make sure that we were running as efficiently as possible.
Cool. Yeah, that's like, I wonder if it was budget reasons and stuff like that, because I ended up doing like a $400 like trailer. Me and my friends did, and like I just shot it on my phone because it was like the cheapest process to do it.
Yeah,
that's all you need.
Nowadays the phones can be really, really good.
Absolutely.
What was that shot all on phones, the zombie one? What was it?
Which zombie?
7 days later?
7 days later? I'm not sure. I know Steven Soderbergh shot mystery thriller with the iPhone 15. 28 years.
28 years later.
28 years later, shot on iPhone 15s. But that was different though. They basically like used it as a processor. They had a whole cinema rig with lenses, so it's a little different than just running around. But you can do it.
Yeah, you can. Yeah.
But Claire Foy stars in a movie that he's in that he literally just shot on iPhone 13s, I think, at the time with these tiny little lens extenders.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Well, it's like what was it like? The first 28 days later, they shot like on a Canon XL, and now phone.
The Canon XL ones, which were not even HD at the time.
Wow.
Yeah, and it's crazy what phones can do today. So it's nuts. But so how long did production shoot for, and where did you guys shoot at?
Well, we shot for a total of 4 days, 3 days in the desert, 1 day at the warehouse when we blew up the car. And we were in a desert location outside of Palmdale, which is like an hour outside of LA. So we took the whole crew out there. Everybody stayed in hotels, and we were just out in the middle of the desert in Palmdale for 3 days, sun up till sundown, just in the dust and dirt and the heat all day. We originally were going to shoot in July, but a huge heat wave came through, and I broke the news to him one day, and I was like, we can't in good conscience put the crew through shooting in this kind of heat. There's no way. If you're on a bigger budget set and you can provide like cooling tents and like time for the crew to cool off and like AC rooms and stuff, sure, you can shoot in that stuff all day, but that was just not the case for us. So we ended up postponing and then shot in October, which was much better.
Still hot. It's still in the 90s.
Yeah, it was still, which is still crazy. It was still hot, but it wasn't 115.
Yeah, but the one con was the days were shorter, and the entire film takes place in daylight, and so we had quicker days. So that was one thing we had to deal with.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I actually have a filmmaking question for you later in the interview. I want to ask you about that too. But my next question is, at the lead of One Click, you have certified badass Juliana Ramos Ortiz. Did you write the part with her in mind, given the action requirements, or is it just like a match made in heaven when you guys were casting?
I never met her. We got a lot of casting and crew through SARA and her stunt connections, because she's a stunty as well, and coordinator and stunt rigger, in addition to so many other things. But we got Juliana through her, and SARA was making it very clear to me that we needed people who were able to do physical things as well as act at the same time. And I love stunt people. Working with them, it's like they're my favorite people on set. And so SARA created an environment of like, let's get as many stunties as possible. There are plenty out there that actually are really great at acting as well, and they don't get good breaks because they're just labeled as stunties.
Yeah.
And so SARA can probably speak more to that.
Well, I mean, everything you said, 100%. And especially with the kind of rigorous filming that we were going to be doing out in the hot sun, dust, and all the action set pieces that we had, it just made sense for the low budget that we had. Let's just get one stunt person who can do the acting and do their stunts. We only have to focus on them, and they can just get it done. And then more to your question on Juliana, it was actually funny. So Juliana and Justin, I don't know if you know, they're husband-wife. Justin played Manny, her brother, which is funny. Really? But that's awesome. he knew Justin from a previous project that they were going to hire Justin on as a coordinator, but it didn't work out because he's in Atlanta, and I knew Juliana, but we didn't know at the time that they were together. So we were both like reaching out to them separately, and they were like, "Oh yeah, well we actually know each other. We're married." And we were like, what? No way. And so it just ended up working, like you said, match made in heaven. It was just like a perfect fit to bring those two on.
Yeah, that's awesome. My next question is, were there any specific films that served as inspiration for One Click that you'd recommend movie nerds to check out before the premiere of One Click?
Yeah, there's so many, and so many that I showed SARA, because she was basically my right-hand woman the whole entirety of the film, pre to post, and still ongoing. And so I wanted SARA and my DP. My DP had seen all the movies, but I wanted SARA to have a clear idea of what I had in my head. Sicario aesthetically was a big inspiration. Seven, specifically the finale, the exterior shots, the harsh sunlight, the shadows. That was a big inspiration as well. Squid Game's an inspiration. Mm-hmm. The original Most Dangerous Game is an inspiration. And
Dune,
yeah.
Pulled some inspiration from Dune.
Well, shots.
Yeah.
Like we recreated shots from Dune. There's a bunch of references to movies. Dune, yeah, because we're in the desert, a lot of aesthetic for sure. There's references to Heat. There's references to Villeneuve movies, Nolan movies. There's Tarantino references in there too.
Yeah.
So we took it as an opportunity, and I wanted to just put a bunch of like my favorite hallmarks to some of my favorite movies in the film, whether it's like the POV or the trunk shot in Tarantino movies. Like we got one of those, and the silhouette of Paul Atreides from behind when the nuke goes off in Dune Part 2. We did that with the smoke cloud in front of the character. So I wanted to just make hallmarks to movies I love, in addition to combining a bunch of films that I love in terms of tone and genre and aesthetic.
Yeah.
As well as creating our own style.
One of the things that I think is so cool about like his vision and how he brings stuff together is because he has such a extensive background on like film knowledge and like, you know, just this huge cinephile brain. He draws like so much from all these like greats and all this awesome like people and past filmmakers and stuff, but then is able to put like his own spin on it, and it comes up with something that's like, I think, really cool and exciting.
Yeah, and then you have no idea how happy I am to hear you say Dune. If you can see on my shoulder, my entire Dune collection.
Oh yeah, look at that!
Hell yeah, dude!
Yeah, so
here's the Mind Killer tattooed on my wrist.
Oh, wow. That's so awesome. Hell yeah. Cool. So, all right. So I know it's hard to pick one because I know the project is your guys' baby and stuff, but without, and if there's possible spoilers in your answer, let's tiptoe around that, obviously. But what was your personal favorite scene to shoot?
Oh.
It's tough, you know. Like the obvious pick is the explosion, you know, because it's just, that's one of the reasons why we're doing this whole movie. It was like, oh, we're gonna blow up a car, and so that was really exciting, especially because it was really our last shot of the whole shoot, and we planned it for the last day of filming. And it was the wrap, basically. We did a couple, 2 extra shots afterwards with an afterburn. But the explosion was really exciting to do. But for me, it was more of just trying to maintain focus. And as the director, I had to look on monitor, so I didn't get to see the explosion like with my naked eye. But that still was a really fun day because there was such great energy and atmosphere, and the crew was so excited to be working on the explosion that day. We were just in the desert for so long.
Yeah, we were happy to be out of the desert.
Yeah, we had a warehouse that we could set up our crafty and our base camp inside of, indoors with shelter.
With AC. Oh my gosh.
Because in the desert, we built like a city in the desert with tents every day.
Yeah.
You know, we had like a dozen tents everywhere. We had bathrooms and air-conditioned bathrooms, so everyone was taken care of. But still, it's 95 and sunny every day. So it's nice to have indoors, as well as just, I think the atmosphere for me was the most exciting part about that day. But I would say the explosion, I mean, how do you beat that?
Yeah, I mean, for me, that was definitely like, you'd mentioned it before. It was a chill day, but it was like me and him were kind of on the edge of our seats because we know what happens when crew gets too chill. And that's not, like, you still need people to be focused. We still got stuff we need to get done. We still got to shoot. Like,
yeah, stay sharp.
This big explosion going on. So we were like, yeah, this is great that it's chill and all, and it was. But, like, let's make sure that we're still staying on top of stuff. Yeah, you know, for me, I think some of the dirt bike stuff was probably the funnest stuff to shoot for me. I had a lot of fun with the dirt bike. I got to take a little second unit and do some little stuff with the dirt bike, so that was a lot of fun for me.
Yeah, it's just tough to pick, but also like we have this great I don't want to spoil it, but we have a great squib effect that is incredible. That worked. And when we premiered the movie in theaters at LA Shorts Film Festival, the whole audience like gasped in shock. It's a great shocking moment. That was so fun to film because we had one shot, just like the explosion, for the squib hit, and it comes out of nowhere. It's really exciting. I
don't know if fun's the right word, but it was definitely the most rewarding after we got it.
It was one of those moments while it's happening we're like, oh my god, that worked.
Yeah,
it worked so well.
So rewarding.
Because we built our own special effects besides the explosion.
Now, when you shot the explosion, did you only have one camera, or did you have multiple cameras?
We had 3 cameras going.
3 cameras.
3 cameras. Okay. I was sitting there. I was like, I'd be so nervous. It's like, hey, you gotta get this in one shot, but I get it at every angle and all that stuff. It's like, it's crazy, but awesome. All right, cool. So, were there any like unexpected challenges or hurdles you guys faced during productions that you weren't prepared for?
Always.
Oh,
I mean, it's every production forever.
yeah.
You're always going to have hurdles like that. Like we had bogeys showing up on set, like ATV riders who would just randomly ride through set that we had to deal with. We had
Yeah.
one morning where our picture car got broken into. Luckily, nothing got stolen, but like we were pushed back an hour because of that.
I mean, but even in pre-production, there's so many things that
Yeah.
come on because this was a very independently run show. Sarah and I basically did 95% of the pre-production work. You know what I mean? We did a lot of stuff, just us two, shoulder to shoulder at a table every day for like the entirety of 2024, for months and months. And so like so many things go wrong when you're even in pre-production. I mean, the first thing we did, we set ourselves up with a huge problem of how do we blow up a car? Logistically, what the fuck do we do? Which was I love problem solving. Honestly, it's why I think I'm like suited to being a director and a filmmaker, is because all you're doing is problem solving every single day.
Yep.
And I love solving difficult problems. I always love a challenge, and it's always fun to figure out how to pull something off. That's why I was like, I want to do special effects in camera. We'll figure it out. And we did figure it out. It just takes a lot of work, and so I think there's so many I mean, a week before filming, our explosion car got towed, so it's like there's so many problems that happen even before you start rolling cameras that you're dealing with already. So it's just there's dozens and dozens.
Yeah, and that's good too, because that basically like sharpens your armor and stuff like that as a first time director and stuff like that. So you can build off that. You're prepared for that. Yeah. So when you go on to the next film, you're prepared for that. So that's really awesome to see that you invite challenge. That's good. But yeah, so you got a little bit into it, and I wanted to go into this interview like blind as possible and learn everything about the film from this interview. But I know right now up at at One Click Film on YouTube, you guys actually have some episodes of the making of One Click Film. I caught a little snippet of it and everything else, and I know you guys don't want to give your secret away, and don't do it, but but I know you said you guys made your own blood squibs. That's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, basically all it is pressurized air. Highly pressurized air, with silicone tubing, fake blood, and an output device, kind of like an output piece of plastic. But it was a very specific rig to what we were doing with our stunts. So it's like, would it work in other people's shows? I don't know. And it's such a like a DIY project that we built from scratch, that it's like so many different parts from Amazon, from Home Depot, from here, from there. And it took so much testing, but it's so specific to our stunts. That's why we made them. Yeah,
it was tailored to exactly what our purposes needed to be.
Yeah, and so there's so many DIY videos on how to build squibs. If I was doing squibs again, I wouldn't do it this method. Like, I only did this method because I figured out how to do it this way. But as I learned that process, I would do something totally different the next time.
Yeah.
But the next time I would definitely hire a pyrotechnic to do it for us, because it's a very stressful day. But we were just out of money, so that's why we just had to build everything ourselves. But that's basically it is highly small tanks of highly pressurized air.
Yep. And then this is the filmmaking question, and there's just a curious curious question on my part, and hopefully I structure it properly. Is you're shooting outside? I would imagine that presents so many challenges in shooting. And one of my questions is, you're dealing with lighting, you're dealing with weather. You're like, maybe one day you're shooting where it's no clouds in the sky, but the next day there's clouds in the sky. Now, how do you have the consistent visual look of the film? Is that something that you do in post, like a filter, or did you guys shoot like a special lens to keep that visual look continuously?
Well, I mean, this is really all because of our DP Danger, who just tackled this problem head on. He was so good. I'm so glad that we found him. He's just brilliant with how he handled those things, because like that kind of stuff is so out of my wheelhouse. I mean, you and Danger spent so much time like figuring out how you're going to use natural light, and all that stuff.
And just basically the way the whole, like, that's the movie 7, the finale, they're outside. It's this really interesting kind of effect that happens when you watch that film, so the whole scene is outdoors, just the 3 characters in harsh sunlight. And there's no balance, there's no diffusion, there's nothing. And what's really interesting when you watch that scene, if you really analyze and go frame by shot, the sun changes where it is on a character's face. Like it'll cut to John Doe, then it'll cut to Mills, then it'll cut back to John Doe, but the sun's here where it was just over here. No one fucking notices, you know, and people don't pick up on tiny things like that unless they're really, if they are picking up on it, then that's great because they keep watching your movie and they're really analyzing it. So Danger and I kind of went into it with this approach of, you know, we only shot with sunlight. We didn't have any night scenes at all on purpose to just be as efficient as possible and no artificial light at all. We used a bounce maybe 2 or 3 times just for some little fill here and there. We never really used any diffusion. And when it comes to clouds and stuff, it's LA. You know, you don't really get clouds very often, and especially we're out north in Palmdale in the desert. Seldom will you get any clouds up there. So we're pretty much guaranteed sun all day when you're shooting there. That's why we shot there. And then it's basically, you know, paying attention to your surroundings and making sure it's really more of like trying not to break the line, what's it called?
The 180.
The 180 rule. Yeah. Basically just trying to maintain the 180 rule so that, because what we're doing is we have large portion of the film takes place with 2 groups of characters. We have our main hunter sniper character hunting our other 2 characters, as well as someone else comes into play. So the real challenge was logistically shooting in the specific styles and directions to make sure the audience knows geographically where our 3 parties are, if there are 3 parties or if there are 2 parties. So that we can tell, so the audience knows, you know, the hunter is over in that direction, up that hill, and you know we can kind of maintain where everyone is. And so it really, that was probably the bigger thing of logistically making sure the audience knew where everyone was in terms of directions.
Cool. All right, and then now that you've gone through the entire process, James, and this is your first film, what was, and I know you had a blast through the entire process. It seems like that the crew you guys, I've seen the behind the scenes photos and videos. It's like you guys seem like you had a blast. So what was the most challenging? Was pre-production, production, or post-production the most challenging for you?
Oh, that's a good question. You know, I've been editing for 20 years, so post-production wasn't that bad. I did the editing myself, and Sarah was in the room with me for the most part of it as well. So she was like my angel on my shoulder, guiding me in good directions a lot. And so I edited the movie, which was I knew I was ready to do. That was fine. I would say the most challenging thing is pre-production because there's so much to do, especially with mostly just Sarah and I doing a lot of the work. You know, we put so many hours into it. Like, even though it's a 15-minute movie that was shot for only 4 days, there's so much planning that went into it, and that's why it ran so efficiently. So pre-production, I think, is always the toughest part. But it was a short shoot, so, I mean, a longer shoot, that the production phase may have felt like the toughest part if it was like a month-long production, especially if you're in the desert for a long period of time. But I think the production was the most difficult part because there was just so much work to do.
Yeah, and then I guess this is like a 2-part question. What was the moment that you knew this is actually going forward? Like, it was basically the green light, and like you said, you've been working on it since 2023. What did it feel like when you finally got the green light? What was that feeling like? Like, you're like, oh shit, this is actually going to happen.
I think when Sarah came on board, and then really, I think the most exciting day for us in pre-production early on was when we got Ilya Popov, our pyrotechnic who did
that's exactly when I knew it was going to happen.
So Ilya runs Gem Effects, which is an incredible company. They do so many explosions and pyros for film, TV, and live concerts, as well as building cars and vehicles for movies. They did the F1 cars and mounted cameras to them and set them up for filming, as well as so many other kinds of picture cars. They do such great work, and through Sarah's connections, we got linked up with him, if you want to go through that.
I mean, yeah, it was just, so I started my film journey as a PA, as a production assistant, like 10 years ago. I started at the very bottom, and I was just working on a show with one of the actors and brought him coffee, and for some reason he remembered that, and that's how this whole connection with Ilya Popov came to be. So if there's any PAs listening to this, the coffee that you bring matters. I promise you. It matters. What you do matters. But yeah, it's just like, through a random connection from a guy that I met way, way long ago, we were able to bring this together. And yeah, Ilya was just awesome. He got us exactly what we needed. I knew that once I handed the car over to him, we were going to be in good hands. And yeah, that was really the moment where I was like, okay, we can do this car explosion. We're going to be able to make it happen. I know it's going to go well. We're in really good hands. We're definitely going to be able to do the rest of this now. So that was, that was a good moment.
Nice.
We were jumping. When we got Ilya, she hung up the phone, we were screaming, we were jumping up and down for like 10 minutes straight, and then we went and got tacos. It was great.
Oh
yeah, man. That's awesome. And then I always have to ask this question: who are some of your filmmakers that inspired you both to become filmmakers yourself?
Oh, I mean, so many. I mean, I've been in love with movies since I was a kid, but at the end of the day, you know, it's the greats who are my favorites. You know, Spielberg is such an inspiration, and I think for me, watching Fabelmans was a big inspo of like, we can pull out. Well, it was before I even met Sarah. I saw it. It was back in 2022, I think, or 2023. It was like, you know, we can figure things out. You can, because he's such a kid. He's a kid in that, figuring out how to make movies when he's young, just doing whatever he can with whatever he has, and just like he's a genius. So Spielberg's always been an inspiration for me, but I mean, Nolan's my guy. Villeneuve. I mean, there's too many to name off. You know, I'm just obsessed with movies, always have been. But you know, those are probably like my 3 favorites right now that are just really inspiring to me.
And we're getting all 3 of them in 2026, aren't we?
I know, it's gonna be amazing. Amazing.
I don't have a very big cinephile background. Like I started working in movies before I was actually into movies. So for me, my inspirations have come from people that I've worked with before. Like I've worked with some really amazing first ADs who really inspired me to continue further down the path. Jason Ruffalo, Nick Mastandrea. And then I worked with Dexter Fletcher on The Offer, and watching him work and his process. And I actually have a quote from him that he told me on my Instagram, and that's, "I only do cool shit." Yeah. Like just watching him go through how he did stuff was really inspiring, and it made me want to do what I'm doing now. Yeah. Just really cool shit. Yeah.
And then this is kind of similar to the question I asked a moment ago, but you guys said you completed the film back in February, right?
The end of January, yeah, basically.
Yeah. Okay. So, and then when you hit that stamp of completion on One Click, and it's your first film, James and Sarah, like, how did that feel? Like, you hit the stamp of completion.
You feel sick to your stomach.
Yeah. Like, yeah. I was like, oh god, this.
It's it's just a weird feeling. Obviously, very grateful, and it's such an incredible experience. But it's always like you watch it over. We've seen that movie 1,000 times. It's like, go back and could do 1,000 things differently, you would. But then at the end of the day, you really have to accept, you know, whether it's what you were thinking and whether it was your vision, whether every shot went the way you wanted, you still pulled it off. Still feel an immense pride of accomplishment, especially with building such a great team and a great crew and having such a great experience. And, you know, I'm so proud of it, and I can't wait for people to see it.
It's such a roller coaster. The whole process has been such an emotional roller coaster. Like, there were some days where I was in love with it, and I thought it was the greatest thing ever that we'd done at this point. And then there were days where I was like, this is absolute shit. Like, we're actually gonna put this out in the world right now. But like, it's it's just been a roller coaster. But now that we're done with festival runs and we're kind of like getting ready for our premiere, the roller coaster's been going up a bit more. Yeah.
And James, you're spoken like a true filmmaker, because all filmmakers say that after they get done with their film, they're like, "Oh, I wish I would have changed that." I know, like Robert Eggers talks about, like, he would go back to The Witch and he says, "I want to reshoot that entire thing," which I think it's a masterpiece. But you know, it's like I said, it's that director syndrome. They're just like, I want to change that, and I can do that better.
I mean, you get as close as you can to what's in your head. And you can only achieve it with great team and great pieces that you surround yourself with. And then you have a team, and it's your job really to communicate as much as you can your vision and try to pull it off. And the more you communicate and the more you open yourselves up to everyone else's expertise, then you can really facilitate it. And so it's never going to be exactly how it is in your head, but you can get close enough to where it feels good.
And that kind of transitions to my next question is, now that you've completed One Click, do you have any helping advice for other aspiring filmmakers?
Just get out there and do it. You know, make your movie. You know, we had pretty big budget for a short film, or 35K. We raised funds, so I'd recommend whatever you're working on, even if you don't think it's great, just get out there and shoot it. Get out there and try. The only way you can get better
Is by doing it.
Yeah, is by doing it, especially in this industry. And also the only way things are going to happen for you is to go out there and put yourself out there and, go work on other people's movies.
Yeah.
Go meet some people and start writing movies together,
Yeah.
You're never, opportunities aren't just going to drop on you. You have to go out there and actively seek them out. So even if you think your movie's bad, just go out there, put some pieces together, because even if you spend a day shooting something that no one's ever going to see, it's still a day of experience.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. And surround yourself with knowledgeable people. Like, go find people who are better than you and learn from them and welcome them to help build you up and be better. I mean, that's all I wanted to do. I just give me people who know more than I do, who are going to be better than us, so that we can try to make this seamless as possible. And just learn from the greats. Do your research.
And have a great assistant director too.
A good AD will save you so much money and time and headache. Yeah.
But also plan. Always plan as much as you can. That's key.
Yeah.
All right. And then do you have any other projects in development next, or anything you're allowed to tease?
We have so many projects. Basically, Sarah and I, we don't want to do any more shorts, even though we've only done one. But our next thing is we just want to go right into features. And so it's basically figuring out which project is best for us within the next year and most able to do and pull off and practically we can make. Depending on how much money we can raise and facilitate a vision that I want to do. So basically, I'm always writing something.
Just always writing something.
We got 5 stories, and almost all of them have almost complete scripts, or at least finished stories. So it's basically whatever we can get done in the next year we want to do. We do have one, I think that's our number one for actually being able to shoot ourselves, hopefully within the next year. But next we're going to get into features and most likely horror.
Oh, sweet. Awesome. And then this is my fun final question for both of you. You can answer collaborative or separately. You're in the director's chair and you have unlimited resources given to you. What would be James Deveney and SARA Beko's dream film to make? Would it be an existing IP, an original film you have an idea for, an adaptation of a novel? I know this is a very loaded question, but what would be your dream film to make?
I mean, I already have the answer, but it's a script that he wrote. Last year?
Yeah, but if you could do anything.
That's what I want to do. That's what I want to do. There's this great psychological horror.
It's pretty cool. Yeah.
It's and if I had unlimited resources, I want to find a really big budget for this script, because we could do some really cool stuff with it.
That's really flattering.
Yeah.
It's a cool story. Sarah really likes it, obviously.
Maybe we started the fire just now, and it'll happen.
Maybe.
Honestly, I would love to work on a big IP at some point. I'm obsessed with Harry Potter. I'm obsessed with Lord of the Rings. But
Harry Potter ain't gonna let you do anything.
I would love to do, if I could adapt a book, I would do Red Rising. I don't know if you've heard of the book series, but I would do the first Red Rising book. That would be a dream to make.
Awesome. And then I guess this is a part 2 to the same question. Is there a dream cinematographer you want to work with, an actor, a music composer? Is there somebody it would be a dream come true to work with?
I mean, Hans Zimmer, obviously.
Yeah, Hans.
Hans is amazing. Or Howard Shore is amazing as well. There's so many, but Hans is my guy, and John Williams is probably going to be done pretty soon. I'm sure he'll retire within the next few years, but Hans is obviously the dream person to work with, or Ludwig.
Yeah.
Actors, Tom Cruise. I just want to hang out with them. I don't even have to.
Actors is tough, because it's so dependent on what the script is and who fits the role, But the composers for sure.
Yeah.
Sound is so important in film. For me, sound is the most important thing in a film. If you don't have good sound, it takes your audience out of it right away.
Yeah, I mean, we have such a great cinematographer, Danger Charles. But if I could work with a dream cinematographer, like Hoyt van Hoytema, I think is one of the best, if not the best, right now.
Yeah.
And I know Deacon's pretty much retired, so he's done. But I think Hoyt's fantastic, or also Linus Sandgren's incredible.
Yeah.
So I think those kinds of cinematographers are just like dream artists to work with because they are just absolute masters.
Yeah. Yeah, Hoyt, I know Greg Fraser, he's talking about that he's doing the Beatles films, and he's not going to be doing the cinematography for the Batman 2. And I was like, they should get Hoyt to do Batman 2.
We got Linus instead.
Oh, did they get Linus? Yeah. That's right, they did get Linus, yeah. All right, so cool. All right, so I'm glad you guys enjoyed that question because it's always like a very tough question. It's very
but
hard
Sarah
to
and I
answer.
also are big on building team, and so like we want to always work with as many people in the same parts as possible. But it's a fun question,
Yeah, team is super important on a film set because not everybody's gonna get along with everybody, so you have to know how to build the right team so that you have the right vibe on set.
Yeah, absolutely. And then, but yeah, guys, that's all I had. Seriously, thank you both again so much for being so generous to sit down and talk to me. Like I said before, this was the first interview I've ever done, and I was so nervous. But you guys are cool. You guys are cool as fuck, and I can't thank you enough. Thank you so much. This
of course, keep us posted on when it goes up live on YouTube and everything.
Yes, absolutely. And then once again, congratulations to you both on the film. And I want to plug it one final time. One Click premieres on November 16th, 2025 at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And where can people find One Click?
On YouTube.
One
Click Film, One Click with a K, and Instagram, One Click Film on Instagram.
All right, and then my final thing, to leave all the movie fans in anticipation, what are 3 words you would use to define One Click?
Oh, that's good.
Thrilling.
Chaos. Here, you go first.
Thrilling.
Okay, so that's one.
That's one. Thrilling.
You need 2 more.
I liked chaos. Thrilling, chaos, and bloody.
I would say survive, mysterious, and fucking action.
Fucking action. Yes. Fucking action.
I'll take it. And then before we close this out, I actually want to get I wanted to give an extra big shout out to you and Anthony at Raiders of the Lost podcast. Really, you guys, I think you guys are the best in the game. Every episode, you guys bring so much fire and passion. And the most important thing that you guys do is celebrate film. And I'm no bullshit, man. And I'm not trying to be a kiss ass or anything, but you guys are the best movie podcast on the internet.
Oh, thank you, brother.
And
Appreciate that.
but shout out to you guys. Keep up the grind, man.
Thanks, man.
And then final thank you to James Deveney and Sarah Beko. And I said your guys' last name right, right?
Yeah. Yep.
All right, sweet.
No one ever gets
my
it
last,
right.
Everybody says my last name wrong because it's pronounced Eversole, but I live in Indiana, so everybody's like Eversole, all that stuff. So I was like, I want to make sure I got your guys' last name right. So, all right, awesome.
Killed it.
So, but once again, thank you guys so much for doing this, and thank you, movie nerds, for joining us for this very special Instagram Live. I will get this edited and put it up on YouTube as soon as I can. And then, as always, guys, take care of yourself, take care of each other, and we'll see you later, movie nerds. Bye.
Bye.